president. I will die for him. I will die for that man, happily. I will die for him. Anybody want to mess with him, you mess with me first. He is a hero, that man.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news here. Olympus is paused. White House down, White House blown. So yeah, let's just get into it. Grandpa pissed his pants again. He don't give a damn. Brother Trump has both lungs gone. He ain't been right since Vietnam. Sweet home Mar-a-Lago, play that Dead Prez song. Turn those speakers up full blast. Play it all night long. The president has brucellosis, but we'll get through somehow. You probably spent the long weekend just bathing in Twitter being fun and good again because our big wet president, his lungs are currently filling with the same big wetness that surrounds his face. He's got COVID.
It really does tell you that the way to have the way to create psychic well-being in this country is we need to get presidents, make sure that they're the most obnoxious oafs on earth, have them be president for 4 years, and then make sure that they get wildly sick somehow at the very end of it, like a Wicker Man type deal.
Yeah,
all that energy gets to be vented in good humor.
You know how much you guys know that my dad was he was a famous crank in the family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a dangerous crank, but just like he was a liberal who hated the CIA but didn't know what to do about it. That type of boomer lib that doesn't exist anymore, really.
Cool.
Yeah. So one of his ideas was that the president should have like 1 6-year term, then be murdered after it.
Yep. Ritually sacrificed.
Yes.
And then we could just we could live off the next 4 years on the memes alone.
Yeah. He was a visionary. Like, we're getting that.
Also, it would only attract people dedicated to service. This is literally something I would have thought of like right when I got into punk rock around 15.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense, and it would keep a lot of, like, Obama would have never done it.
No way. He wouldn't die for his country. He wouldn't die for the memes.
No.
Yeah, no way.
His idea is to make a president into a troop with a dedicated countdown.
Trump still would have done it because he thinks he would have, like, talked his way out of being killed, but he would have just been killed.
True.
Yeah.
As they lead him into the giant Wicker Man. This is a total disgrace.
Nixon would have done it. Reagan, he might have thought it was a movie.
Absolutely. They would have told him, get in the Wicker Man, Mr. President. This is all being filmed. And he would have been happy going down.
I got to say, though, you brought up Reagan, and I got to say, though, Trump getting COVID and potentially dying of it is almost as funny as if Ronald Reagan had died of AIDS.
Yeah. The latest development that we have today, that he's yacked up on steroids and incredibly manic and like cutting his own bangs and like writing a screenplay. So good.
I'm right here.
He's checking himself out today. He's checking himself out because he feels great.
He got fired from the hospital.
He's Janice after she got beat up by the Russians and decided she was a Christian. Like, he's just doing every manic guy thing right now.
I said this earlier. If someone told me later that he held the thermometer up to his desk lamp and was like, "We're going to say we have a cure. They're going to love me," I wouldn't be surprised. Like, nothing would surprise me at this point. At the same time, if he does have it, the man is preternaturally resilient. He's the only guy that somehow gets stronger off of like 20, 30 years of McDonald's. I don't see it knocking him dead. I don't know what it is about him. He's made of different things than normal.
I mean, he shouldn't be alive right now, regardless of corona.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes, this is the one time when you actually you really feel terrible for Melania. You feel some genuine sympathy. Because the first time she met him, she watched him eat, and she was like, yeah, 5 years.
Yep.
Tops.
Yeah. She thought she was doing, She thought she was doing one of those tours of duty where you just like, yeah, you're in like American Samoa, like petting turtles, and then she got deployed to Afghanistan. And she's on her 10th
Yeah,
tour.
like Yugoslavia had just collapsed. I would totally be like, yeah, whatever, 5 years. I'm not going back.
So I mean, I've been thinking all weekend, you know, like how to talk about this on the show. I mean, outside of just gales of laughter, but looking back on it, it's just like you're spending this whole year, you know, investing in this election, and then hitting quarantine, and then just like having like the cascade of fucking disasters, personal and otherwise, affect seemingly everyone I know this year at the same time. It's just like throughout all of it, like it would seem like it would be a hack or too easy a joke to fantasize about Donald Trump contracting COVID and spreading it to not just his entire inner circle, but many of the leaders of the Republican Party in the Senate and Congress. And it just, once again, like, this is proof that we are living in the Chapo reality, that the archon that governs this plane of existence is, if not indifferent to human life, at least amused by it. I got to say, like with Hillary in 2016, looking back on it, could this have ended any other way?
No, absolutely not. Like he's become her and low energy Jeb and all his enemies in every way. He absorbed their weaknesses by defeating them.
We were talking about it. Apparently he shut off some fire tweets earlier today, but it's been a month of bad material at least.
On the heels of the worst RNC I've seen in years, on the heels of the low energy, like, you know, Mitt Romney RNC, like and months of just dog shit tweets, just dog shit, just like, you know, small businesses need to escape regulations, blah, blah, blah.
It was like regular Republican tweets. It was so fucking boring there for a while.
Well, okay. You talk about some material, though. I just want to read. This is as of 2:30 p.m. today. He says, quote, "I will be leaving the Great Walter Reed Medical Center today at 6:30 p.m. Feeling really good! Exclamation point. Don't be don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life. We have developed under the Trump administration some really great drugs and knowledge. I feel better than I did 20 years ago. I feel better than I did 20 years ago." And I also really love the phrase, "we have developed some really great drugs and knowledge under the Trump administration."
Yeah, like he was wearing a white lab coat.
Yeah, well, that video, he said he said we're learning about the real COVID here, not the
book COVID.
Not the book COVID. Look, there's book COVID and there's street COVID. And Trump learned COVID from
Chris,
the
can
streets.
we cue up that clip that I sent you, the Trump video that he posted yesterday, and then we just watch that on the shared screen and react to it, because this was a fucking fantastic Trump video. All right, so this was Donald Trump's statement given from Walter Reed Medical. This is a video he posted on Twitter yesterday, letting everyone know that he feels great.
We're getting great reports from the doctors. This is an incredible hospital, Walter Reed. The work they do is just absolutely amazing, and I want to thank them all, the nurses, the doctors, everybody here. I've also gotten to meet some of the soldiers and the first responders, and what a group. I also think we're going to pay a little surprise to some of the great patriots that we have out on the street, and they've been out there for a long time, and
I
they've
also got
got Trump
to infect
flags,
some of the first
they love
responders.
our country, so I'm not telling anybody but you, but I'm about to make a little surprise visit.
A little
So
surprise
you have to
surprise
sit there
visit.
before you get
I'm
to
going to
see
take them
me.
all on cute little dates.
But I just, when I look at the enthusiasm, and we have enthusiasm like probably nobody's ever had.
No one.
People that love the job we're doing, we have more enthusiasm than maybe anybody.
Maybe.
So,
Yeah, anybody
it's been
ever.
A very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID.
Myself.
By really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it. And it's a very interesting thing, and I'm going to be letting you know about it. In the
It's a
meantime,
very interesting thing.
We love the USA, and we love what's happening. Thank
We
you.
love what's happening.
We
don't
love
we,
what's
folks?
happening.
That was me after having sex for the first time.
My heart is being churned into the consistency of a fucking Cinnabon by COVID, and we love it. We love it.
I'm being given PEDs for horses, and we're finding more and more about what's going on.
They've got him gacked up on fucking steroids. Like, and the hardcore shit, like the stuff that makes you like insanely manic and hallucinate.
Yeah.
He's fucking having conversations with fucking Roy Cohn right now.
We've been looking into getting a Bowflex in the West Wing, using it on Melania and Barron.
Amber, you pointed it out. I really love where he says he's like I'm learning a lot about COVID. He's like, this is the real school, not the book reading school. I just like I love that that's his conception of education. It's like the fake school is where you have to read books. The real school is where you get the deadly disease that you've been playing down for the last.
It's the COVID. It's the COVID of hard knocks.
Wait a minute, you guys.
And that's the only real way to learn.
You guys know this, right? When you become a doctor, whatever you specialize in, they give it to you so that you know what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah,
like if you're an oncologist, they make you sit on a microwave for like 4 hours.
Yeah, if you're a man who becomes an OBGYN, watch out. You better really love your job.
This is another good tweet from Jack Prilosek. We haven't talked about him in a while, but he posted a quote this morning. He says, direct quote from medical official to OANN, quote, he's been eating like mad today. He's been eating like a madman today. Back-to-back plates, energy way up.
That's steroids. That is a steroid side effect.
He's gonna get so puffy.
He's gonna get so jacked. Is what's gonna happen. He's gonna actually look like the Bun Garrison cartoons.
I don't even know if his body would like things that make other people look good. Like there's something inverse about his health.
Yeah.
To where like he probably like if he took a vitamin C pill, he would probably become deathly ill.
He is his own picture of Dorian Gray. Like he lives unnaturally long and also looks like shit at the same time.
It's insane how resilient he is. Yeah, he looks like he's dying.
Matt, there's a portrait in the White House attic that looks like the Ben Garrison cartoon, and as Trump's face continues to melt and just get more pockmarked with fucking sores and fucking you know just like styes or whatever. Yeah, it's just the muscles on the Ben Garrison portrait just grow even bigger. I mean, I think my favorite thing yesterday was his little drive-by of all the supporters, where he against doctors' orders, and if you believe Gabriel Sherman in Vanity Fair, against the advice of his advisors and family to leave the hospital. Apparently, he wanted to leave the hospital yesterday because he was feeling so good, and the doctors wouldn't let him. So the compromise was putting him in a hermetically sealed box with a Secret Service agent who has to breathe the same air as him, as he just takes a little drive around the block and wave to the people.
Amazing.
Wave to the people. They
And
love you, Donald.
I liked how like awful that looked. He just looked like a big baby being swaddled around. He looked like the boy in the bubble, just meekly going, hi. And all the Trump guys, all the OAN guys, just everyone was like, see, he's fine. He's stronger than ever. Alex Berenson posted that like it's proof that COVID's no big deal.
Alex Berenson said Alex Berenson said he has a few comorbidities like being mildly obese. But he has, he just has the energy. Trump is strong like ox, and
I gotta say though, like this will work in his favor twofold.
I totally
One,
disagree, but
I don't agree at all.
It will literally like garner sympathy for him because he'll be like a survivor, and then two. For his base,
but it
absolutely.
doesn't matter what his base is.
They'll be like, see,
but his base likes him anyway. He could come out there with no legs anymore. He could come out there with the fucking Immortan Joe mask, and they would think he looked alpha.
I think what was going to happen this time around was that people who voted for them for the first time won't have been bothered a second time.
I don't think so.
Because like they thought it was a foregone conclusion that he's going to win again.
I don't think that's true. I think they love they love the idea of voting for him. They get to own the libs. It's like the ritual of lib ownership. They're not none of them. Nobody who likes Trump isn't. Going to vote for him.
I mean, also,
I disagree. I think honestly, at this point, they're like, little boys who ran away, and so they've been in the woods for 2 days camping, and there's a few like diehards, but there's one or two saying like. Look, Billy, it was fun, but I don't want to be Joker-fied anymore. It's exhausting.
I totally disagree. And during the primaries, like Republicans just voting to renominate him in the primaries outnumbered Democrats voting in a lot of blue states. I think his base, I don't think he's losing that many people of his base. I think like among independents and stuff, and even some slightly right-leaning independents, a lot of them are just not going to vote or vote for Biden. But I think his base, like, I think that base is going to exist in American politics for like the next 20 fucking years, probably.
I don't think they're going to be politically active. I think it's
well, it
just
depends on who comes
it's just
after.
a matter of
able to try to
that's true.
to like
That's
capitalize,
true.
because there's going to be it's going to be like the time of trouble in Russia. There's going to be a bunch of false Dimitris running around claiming his mantle, like waving his shin bone or something to try to get.
Yeah, there's going to be so many reliquaries,
exactly. And it's all going to come up. And the thing is, there's nobody who seems even like remotely similar enough to him in terms of all of the unique attributes he had to give him the position he does for anybody to have a lock on it, especially since he has explicitly not anointed a successor. So I think there will be a period of diaspora.
Okay.
There's no one similar to him in any like biological anatomical.
The only guy
truly isn't.
The only guy who could take it doesn't want it. The only guy who could take his mantle and be his successor is Tucker. Tucker is a TV star. He has swag. None of the other guys have swag, and he would be more competent at articulating a type of Trumpism far more than Trump. But he doesn't want it. Why would you go from making like, fucking 8 figures on TV to this?
I disagree with you, Amber, on like I don't know about his base or whatever, but I disagree that this will engender any sympathy for him beyond anyone outside the group of people who are pot committed to Donald Trump, and I'll tell you why. I think that this makes it.
No, I don't think it'll expand. No,
okay.
I'm not a moron.
Okay,
Jesus. But like every Trump supporter I know in my family think this makes him cool.
Sure, they thought he was cool though. They're supporters.
Right, but
I think he's cool.
Okay, but
this got them more excited about them.
I think they were going to vote for him
all right.
anyway. I don't think it matters.
I disagree in the sense because I think this makes him look horrible, and I think in America, you can get away with being venal, you can get away with being a hypocrite, you can get away with wantonly disregarding human life for your own selfish, stupid reasons. But the one thing you can't get away with is getting owned and looking like a fucking chump, which is what Trump absolutely does. He spent all last week at the debate fucking making fun of Biden for wearing a mask in public and for taking the disease seriously. And guess what happened to him? He fucking got it, owned, and he spread it to fucking half of the people he'd come into contact with in the last week or so. I just think like this is the one thing that could have happened to him or that he could have said or done that can't be spun or fucking deflected or explained away. It's just so fucking obvious that his own stupidity and ignorance has led him into a position of potentially dying of an incredibly serious disease.
I also think this is big because the debates really worried me. I still thought Biden was going to win, but it made me less sure. And it made me less sure because Biden looked weak. He looked weak and confused. Now, you can't look much more weak and confused than Trump looks right now, regardless of how yacked up he is on steroids. They're carting him to and from a hospital. He looks confused and out of it. And he's like, he's like a fucking toddler that made himself sick by eating too many cookies. That's what it looks like to a ton of people.
I don't know. Like I think like both us and the entire discipline of political science and election watching has essentially hit a brick wall when it comes to interpreting what other people think or want in a world and in a country with so many
to do it
with so many discrete and competing realities. It's just I don't know. Like it's just this is the perfectly stupid thing that could have happened to him, and I just think like I think this is utterly humiliating for him, and if nothing else that will get in his head and fucking he has no swag left. He's got his swag levels have been
he does not have swag.
Completely
those
depleted.
Videos did not appear swaggy, especially the one where he was sitting down and they didn't have time to give him the makeup and he just looked like a fucking piece of like chicken breast that you pull off of a goddamn freezer counter. Not good.
Okay, but let's look at this from just a pure like numbers. Is this going to stop any Trump voter from voting for him?
No.
The people that are so that's my point.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, how many Trump voters is the question always? Like a Trump voter, by definition, is going to vote for Trump.
for whatever it's worth, my general reading on this is that this makes him look horrible, and I cannot imagine any scenario in which this, it benefits him in any way electorally. It could very well could be that this, it won't affect the outcome of the election one way or the other at all. But it is unbelievably funny. I mean, I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
on that.
Oh, it's very.
That's my main
we could
takeaway.
agree on that.
I mean, it's just, we've said it before, but often when people ascribe sort of prophetic powers to this show and to our perception of the world, it's a nice compliment, but really what they're describing is just our ability to envision the dumbest and therefore funniest possible outcome and bet on that. And lo and behold, it seems like we're proven right more often than not.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm thinking
We're just going in assuming we live in the stupidest of all universes.
I've decided that I think what would be the funniest thing to happen now is Trump survives. Although honestly, that is he's out there now and he's leaving today. And there was a press conference with his doctor today, and they disclosed his blood pressure, which looked pretty good for a man his age, and other vital signs. And then they asked him if he had any permanent lung damage, and he invoked HIPAA. So I don't think there's and the danger zone for COVID is like 10 days into it, which is not even that's next weekend. So he very well could still die before the election. But I think even funnier than that would be he survives the election. He loses to Biden in an anticlimactic, relatively not close race, which is what the polls look like. And I'm not going to let 2016 totally turn me into a PTSD-ridden maniac who says no. It's going to be the opposite of what it says. There's just too much. He's probably going to win, and then he dies like 2 days later
of an impacted bowel.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
No, the fact that they are going to potentially let him leave the hospital this evening is fucking incredible. I mean, I understand he's the president or whatever, but I mean, he's going to go right back out there and just start spreading it all over again.
They just said he will not be confined to the residency. He's going to be running around.
And
Typhoid Donald.
Patient Nero.
Nice.
He's
Very
going
good.
to
Very good.
Who do you think the first leader that's craven enough to meet with him is? I think Bolsonaro.
Well, he's already had it 7 times.
Bolsonaro has just contracted his 10th case of COVID.
Yeah.
We cannot let those guys meet because they're two COVIDs, like the 57th COVID strains they've both been exposed to. Would they come together, it would become sentient to take over the world.
That would be horrifying.
Here's a really good media hit that I needed to share with you guys. A headline here: Trump campaign attacks Joe Biden for a lack of quote firsthand experience being infected with COVID-19. Trump campaign aide Aaron Perrine said on Monday, suggested that President Donald Trump is a better leader than Democratic candidate Joe Biden because he has quote firsthand experience of being infected with COVID-19. While speaking to Fox News host Sandra Smith,
he's got lived experience.
Yeah, that's what they call standpoint theory.
I love it. They're doing standpoint theory. It's fantastic.
The standpoint theory of disease. It says, while speaking to Fox News host Sandra Smith, Perrine pointed to Trump's joyride around Walter Reed Medical Center to wave at supporters as evidence of him continuing with a presidential schedule, which he said was more rigorous than Joe Biden's daily activities. Quote, firsthand experience is always going to change somehow how someone relates to something that's been happening. The president has coronavirus right now. He is battling it head on as toughly as only the president can. And of course, that's going to change the way he speaks of it because it will be a firsthand experience.
You got to talk about those lived experiences. In my head, there's still a 5% chance that he never had it, and this is all a rollout for a drug.
But Amber, I mean, if he never had it, then like are the dozens of people at that Amy COVID Barry press conference that was like the super spreader event, are they faking it too?
I'm not saying it's likely and I'm not saying it's true. But if someone said that to you, if that was revealed to be the truth, would you be like, my God? You would be like, plausible.
I don't know how plausible it is considering how many other people have it is the thing. I don't think he would have played it like this if it was a scam. I think he would have been more vigorous and he would have, by the way, had the doctor say he doesn't have lung damage. He would not be out here with like this weird Schrodinger's president deal where we're like, is he dying
Right.
or not? Well, maybe not. These guys say no, but then there's all these guys leaking saying, yeah, he's shitting out his doo-doo ass, and he's fucking having conversations with Jeffrey Epstein.
All right, here's another thing. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, she has tested positive for COVID now too, and she released a statement today that I think really articulates quite well their difficulties dealing with the reality of this disease. She posted this today. She says, after testing negative consistently, including every day since Thursday, I tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday morning while experiencing no symptoms. No reporters, producers, or members of the press are listed as close contacts by the White House Medical Unit. Moreover, I definitively had no knowledge of Hope Hicks' diagnosis prior to holding a White House press briefing on Thursday. As an essential worker, I have worked diligently to provide needed information to the American people at this time. With my recent positive test, I will begin the quarantine process and will continue working on behalf of the American people remotely. It's just like these people, I don't think they understand how viruses work. And I think like this, so much of the fucking like anger at having to wear a mask in public just comes from people like not understanding that like, oh, if you're feeling good, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have the virus or are unable to spread it to other people.
Well, I mean, I think you saw that though with, I mean, like other people sort of thought it was like a gaseous vapor. They thought it was an airborne toxic event too. So if you were liberal, you believed in suddenly bad air. And if you were conservative, you just believed that, I don't know, it was the devil and you prayed you wouldn't get
But
it.
they didn't think it was real.
It was like this
They didn't
strange.
think it existed at all.
Or I guess
Yeah,
like the Trump thing is though it's just like I don't think they're full on denialists, but I think that the line that they're going with is that it's just not as bad as the media makes it out to be. And I suppose if he walks out of the hospital saying I feel great, that would seem to be some sort of
The other
confirmation.
line, yes. The other line is that, like, because they love to blame people, is that, well, obviously it'll make you really sick if you don't take care of yourself because you're slovenly and lazy. Like, that was a big right-wing thing too. So, like, the people that weren't denialists. So it was like this weird thing where it's like, oh, no one understands disease at all.
I always love that line about how like the 200,000 people that have died of COVID like actually died of every other disease that they had, and like they would have died anyway, or just like
this is like grids. He had a strange type of cancer that only people with AIDS get.
No, but it's like this idea that like if you're under the age of 55 and have no comorbidities, like COVID is not a problem and no one should be afraid of it. Well, if you are over the age of 55, like do you know how many American men over that age have hypertension or diabetes or are mildly overweight or like any slew of a number of like comorbidities that are not just comorbidities, they're just facts of life for like most people over a certain age.
Well, particularly Americans too. Like the other thing when people were talking about like the mortality rate being so much worse in America than it is in other places that had, that didn't lock down quickly or whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, because we're horribly unhealthy. We are very sick, unhealthy people, and we don't get regular medical care, and we age like absolute shit because of that. So basically just being American, and especially an American over a certain age, is a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess just like back to the original point about just like how I'm trying as best I can imagine what a normal person out there, how they metabolize this, even if they may not be openly wishing for his death. I think what it comes down to is that, for months and months and months, Trump has fucking downplayed the virus and then like holding these giant fucking rallies with people fucking coughing into each other's mouths, never wearing a mask, fucking making fun of people for wearing masks, then making fun of Biden on stage for wearing a mask. And it's just like, well, it looks like the guy who was wearing a mask all the time didn't get it, and you did, asshole. So, I mean, like, it just, that is textbook ownage right there. I mean, he said one thing and his own behavior led him to like the worst possible outcome of what everyone was just over and over again trying to get him to like, hey, are you going to wear a mask now? Could you try to take social distancing seriously at your rallies? And what does he say? He's like, no, we're having the rallies because I have more enthusiasm than anyone else in the world. Herman Cain died at one of his fucking rallies because of that shit.
That was
He
Not only
fucking
did he die,
died.
his account is still up, being posted by a ghost, presumably. And they've been cheering him on in the hospital, going like, "Oh, the president's doing better." When there were posts in that exact same
There was
account about Herman getting better.
Yeah, yes. And by the way, it took Herman Cain like 20 or 30 days
40,
to die. 40
it was like
days.
39 days.
And then right up the last week.
That's
they were
why
like,
I'm saying he keels
Herman's
over
feeling
right
better.
after Election Day. The
Yeah.
funniest possible outcome.
It is literally the date, the timing is insane. I thought it was going to be awful. It's now fun. There's now a death watch.
No, it's
got a
definitely
Deadpool going.
After that debate, it was very much like, oh man, like if I have to pay attention to this, it's gonna just be like having a cage over my head filled with rats. But then this happened, and it was just like the fucking clouds parted.
Yeah, no,
that
Matt.
debate was like probably the most depressed I've been
Yes.
during lockdown.
Yes.
Like I felt awful the day after. I was just pissed off. One of the worst moods I've been in this year, even with lockdown and everything. It was just profoundly depressing, and this was a nice plague from God.
Yeah, Felix, I know exactly what you mean. Like that debate left me so fucking hollowed out inside, like just so disgusted, and I was just like, sick of talking about politics. I didn't want to cover this stupid election. I was just like so bored with talking about this shit because I had like resigned myself inside that nothing good is ever going to happen again. And like, this is just what we're stuck with, that it just gets gradually worse and worse forever until we're all dead. And then like something like this happens and I'm just like, still got the juice, still interested in it. Still love it, baby. Politics is back, because
there are possibilities.
Exactly.
Possibilities exist again.
The horizon of possibility. The door has just wedged open just a crack. And in it, through the door, the grim hand of the Reaper touching Trump's shoulder, and he's just
grimmest hand touches the grimmest hand.
I would have thought that they would have just tried to hide it.
They did.
Just be like,
he had it at the debate apparently, and he had it. Amazingly, he had it and had tested positive for it. And this is how you know that like Trump is like the far end of like the suicidal death drive of capitalism, like embodied in one person. He not only went to a rally full of his hooting dipshits in Ohio and threw his hat into it, like, hey, would you like have a smallpox blanket? But then he went to Bedminster, New Jersey, and he had a buffet lunch with a bunch of $250,000 donors. Those are literally the only people who matter in the entire Republican coalition, and he's coughing Corona on them, knowing it.
Awesome, just awesome.
But that was but they tried to hide it until Hope Hicks got tested positive, and I think he just got too sick. I mean, he had to go to the fucking hospital.
He got too sick.
Yeah, and
but
also,
I guess I was just hoping for more espionage in our
the Trump White House is a fucking sinking ship of leaks. It always has been. It always will be. Even if he wins,
true.
It's like everyone in there is running their own pyramid scheme.
Exactly. Everyone is their own Trump. Everyone in there is doing their own MLM, their own Trump University. Everyone in there is out for themselves, which means there's no loyalty, which means everyone is going to leak everything.
Everyone is working their own insane, idiotic angle. So this was always going to come out. They don't have it together enough for them all to be like, hey, let's keep it a secret. Because for as much of an advantage as they could have gotten from it, even if it was impossible, for as much of an advantage it would be for them to keep it a secret until they yacked him up on steroids enough and people were like, oh, he's acting weird, but he's always acted weird, and you just don't find out about it until after. For all that, there's like, I don't know, like Kayleigh McEnany wants to start like a vitamin company for Christians after this. And she has to show investors that she's got.
You're absolutely right. I think they could have and would have hidden it under any other administration. Certainly with Hillary, they would all I will die before I tell everyone that you have scarlet
Philippe
fever.
Reigns would get sealed in the sarcophagus with her.
Hillary, you have to look at every politician like they're running a mafia family. And Hillary, it's like Genovese or something. Only a few people have ever flipped on her. Only a few people have ever turned state's evidence against the Clinton crime family. But for the most part,
to tell about it.
They run a really tight ship. I mean, Like Nikki Santoro said, it's always better with no witnesses, huh? But the Trump crime family is like it's like one of it.
They're like the Bulgarian.
Well, they're
mob.
like the New Jersey or the Philadelphia mob, where it's like, yeah, totally unqualified. Everyone's just running their own scam. It's barely an organization. Everyone flips on each other because they're all running their own game on each other.
They're literally they're all wearing wires. Everybody is recording everyone else's conversation, thinking that
They
they're the
literally
one
are.
getting
Did you see
over.
the fucking-
Yeah.
Anytime 3 or more of them are in a room together, the feedback is unbearable.
Melania's assistant was fucking recording her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, the friend's also awful. The friend's also disgusting.
That shit is wild. This bitch is insane.
I do think Melania is an awful person, and that little slip that they put out was so perfect. Like, I fuck the children and the Christmas, like cartoon. But I will.
She's
like
the
a
Grinch.
fucking like she's the Grinch. Like, I want to steal the Christmas from the children.
Well, the Grinch was the president of Slovenia for very many years.
No matter what, though, I will never be able to truly work up any anger at Melania. One, because she has no power, and two, she has
None.
had to have sex with Donald fucking Trump.
Yeah.
None. And again, too, she just wanted to not go back to Nova Mesto, and there's no reason why this man should have lived.
He should not be alive.
No,
he should not be alive.
Guys, I was just thinking about the Trump knowing that he was COVID positive, holding a donor dinner at his fucking golf course in Bedminster. And like, I just imagine him, like, he brings all the donors in, locks the doors, and he's like, enjoy the buffet. It's wonderful. Chef Paul Prudhomme said some of his specials. He sent some of his special spices for this prime rib. And then he's walking through and he's like, look, in the great room of the golf club, I've installed a giant ebony clock. Maybe you'd like to check out some of the colored rooms that are inside.
He's famously very much a germaphobe. So I think actually we have misdiagnosed, or my theory, his germophobia is just that he thinks that everyone around him has dirt on them.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's not like an actual
not
phobia
microbes.
of microbes.
It's not microbes.
the other
He doesn't believe
people.
this.
It's people
Yes.
are dirty. People are
Yes,
literally
yes,
dirty.
yes.
And so he's not dirty. He can never be dirty.
He's clean.
And he
He's
can never be
clean.
sick either, because he can never die, which means he's going to act that way even at his own disadvantage, even if it turns him into a fucking plague carrier for his own people who he needs to fucking get reelected and run the stupid fucking country.
Okay. I mean, you say like, perhaps he is iller than what he or his doctors are letting on at the moment. And I would just say to people who are, skeptical of these claims, could a senile, mildly obese 75-year-old whacked up on all kinds of experimental steroids and drugs, if he were not well, could he sit in a car and wave? I don't think so.
No, not at all.
Case closed. No, like they're
This
letting
is his later Steven Seagal years.
yeah.
Oh, he's going to do a rally from a seat.
He's fighting the deep state from a swivel office chair.
The day he got back from Walter Reed, he rolled up into the Oval Office with Q, with everyone, and told the deep state that he's going to pull every motherfucker birthday.
Oh man. Here's another fun element too. All of the sort of joyous reactions to this is over the weekend. One of the funnest things for me to observe was all of the people like fucking like Rachel Maddow and like that whole contingent who were like, we do not hope president dies. We do not. You should never wish death or illness on another human being. We hope for his speedy recovery and like pray for him and his family. It's like, I'm sorry, isn't this the guy who you've portrayed as Hitler too for the last 6 months? Like the guy who we're told over and over again, you simply have to vote for Joe Biden because if you don't, the fucking next Holocaust is going to happen. And then the Fuhrer gets a case of the sniffles and it's like, oh, prayers up, everybody. Hope he gets better.
It's literally, okay.
Of course I hope he dies. Are you kidding me?
I would say, like, it's not either or, because it's like, oh, were you being hyperbolic about this man being Hitler? or are you just like an absolute cuck? But it is actually both.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's true.
Yes.
They are both lying to themselves and everyone else about how much they're really threatened by Trump, because it makes things more exciting. Or if they're Rachel Maddow, it keeps these scared old people watching her show. But at the same time, they are joyless losers who can't even enjoy the simple pleasures of an enemy falling ill.
No,
one of the most hilariously ironic fates possible.
I'm not capable of like manifesting death. This isn't the fucking secret. So wishing someone will die won't fucking happen. It's completely fine to wish someone would die. And I had a friend who would say like, but celebrating someone's death says more about you than it does about them. And it's like, that is the sort of thing that makes sense for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Until you think about it for 2 seconds. And then you're like, actually, if a whole bunch of people would want this person to die, it might actually be more of a reflection on them.
Yeah. If millions of people want you to die, it might be on you.
That's just basic number. That's data. That's
big data,
basic
baby.
Numbers. It does not say much about me. It says more about him.
Yes.
But Matt gets to the heart of it, and like in these liberal reactions, it's like I forget who said it, but someone replied to me, and they were like, "These people are living their entire lives like they think teacher is watching." And they haven't cottoned to the idea. They haven't cottoned to the idea that once you become an adult, there is no existential reward out there for you for playing by the rules and being nice. And if you just demonstrate that you're better than your opponents enough times, people will finally reward you for doing the good, smart thing. It's like even in their fantasies, they can't imagine a world in which they win and the person that we all agree is like a dangerous, evil monster suffers because of his own fucking stupidity. I mean, it's not like, someone gave this disease to him through like an act of sabotage or whatever. He got it because he's a dumb fucking asshole who doesn't care about anything or anyone. It could not be a more perfect ironic punishment. It's like like Dante did this to him practically.
They're so joyless. They can't even enjoy it. It's like, you're right. They think teachers watching. Like, God is dead, but they still think the substitute is taking really detailed notes on your behavior for when your regular teacher gets back. It's like, no, there's no authority.
Some of them, are just incapable of enjoying themselves because they just imagine this observer, this thing. But I think for some of them, they have so internalized that super ego role of the Democratic Party and the political system.
It's in their head.
That is what gets them off, is being better than everybody, being the person who doesn't wish Trump dead. That gets them off, which to me is the sickest thing you could do.
It's so disgusting.
You are a complete pervert.
It's so repulsive.
You are a pervert.
It is so repulsive. And like Jack Wagner said to me, it's like, do these people have dreams where Metallica pulls up to their house in the tour bus and says, "Get on, you're our new lead guitarist," and they go, "No, I have chores to do." Oh man, it's just like and here's the other thing. Like this weekend, we did once again experience just a little bit of joy, just a little bit of fun again, because of how, I mean, you can't be a human being and have been like awake for the last year and not think that this outcome is funny. But like, can you imagine how fucking funny Donald Trump would have been if Biden had got COVID this past
Oh my
week?
God.
Oh, yeah.
Bebopping and scatting. How'd that big mask work out for you, Joe? Sleepy Joe doesn't know how to put on a mask?
Ask Typhoid Mary what it feels like to be a loser, Joe. If Joe Biden had given his wife COVID, do you think Donald Trump would have refrained from making fun of him
God.
for even half
Couldn't
a
even
second?
protect his wife from COVID.
Yeah. I thought she was a doctor.
Hey, Joes, say hi to Bo for me.
By the way, speaking of Bo Biden, I know he was a fixture at the Democratic debate, and where Joe purposely misheard Hunter and Bo to talk about the good.
One of
dead
Joe's
son.
last good tricks. Joe was a tuberculosis ridden Doc Holliday, still quick drawing with that one.
Yeah.
I'm here, Huckleberry.
Man, I'm your Huckleberry. I shouldn't say that.
no.
I'm sorry.
I've got 4 guns, one for all 8 of you. No, but like the thing about like, so that there's the good dead son, and then there's the fail crackhead living son. Did you guys know this about Bo Biden? While he was in Iraq, for some reason, the state of Delaware allowed him to continue to be the attorney general of that state. And while he was doing that in 2009, his office presided over a plea deal which allowed one of the scions of the DuPont family to essentially be fined a few $1,000s for raping his 3-year-old daughter.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Bo is
Jesus
1,000,000% the evil son. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, which is why Joe loved him. Because he was going to be the president, because he was the one who had it in his veins to do the awful shit that you need to do. Because the Bidens are not to the manner born; they're strivers, which means they have to scoop out their soul and replace it with dog manure so that they can fucking do the bidding of awful families like the DuPonts and every other disgusting
insurance
company that rules Delaware.
And I would
DuPont family
do it. Hunter can't do it. That's why he has to smoke crack.
No, exactly. That is why Hunter has a drug problem. That's why he has a spiritual yearning problem. Because he's tried to scoop out the soul. He's done it in part. He's run lobbying firms. Yeah, he's the Michael Clayton of the family.
Yep.
But every time he gets close to that next level, the level that Bo got to and the level that Joe got to, it's too much for him.
Yeah.
And he's got to do like a new form of like, I don't know, Gnostic yoga or fucking smoke PCP.
Yeah.
Like that shit where they were coming back from Bo's funeral and he goes, I think I need to join the Navy. And his amazing.
Yeah. At like 38.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as we're talking,
he can't. I think you're right. I think the conflict is that he can't kill.
He can't kill his heart. He can't kill the human part of him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Whereas
No,
Bo
not
totally. Not
completely
totally.
did it.
Yeah. I mean, think about what he did as AG, and then defended his office's decision to like basically not send this guy to jail for the rest of his life. And it's like, once again, it's because the DuPont family owns the state of Delaware and much of the Mid-Atlantic. Like they are, God, the DuPont family, one of the most. We should do an episode about the DuPonts because like they're honestly like one of the most evil families ever. Yeah.
It's just because he's a prison abolitionist.
Yeah. All right, Mr. DuPont. I need you to make a statement of harm.
Justice in Bermuda.
John DuPont, the harm doer.
Okay, so as long as you're talking about just switch gears for a second. Here is another truly hysterical thing to come out of this weekend. Christie also getting COVID from Donald Trump.
Oh, he's gonna die.
Dude, if there is anyone
now, come on, what comorbidities could he possibly have?
He's got asthma too, by the way. Did you know that?
He's got asthma.
Yes. He has
Holy
asthma.
shit!
Well, a lot of really athletic people have it. It doesn't.
They're gonna put him in Baron Harkonnen's senso belt, and he'll somehow survive. That's what happens when you're at that level of power.
You probably like Vegas probably won't even take your bets on him dying.
No.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
No,
Ladbrokes has canceled all betting on the Chris Christie death pool. They're not taking any action on that right now. But like, what I love about Chris Christie is that like he is the most like out of everyone who has cucked themselves for Donald Trump. Like Chris Christie may be near the top of the list because like he went from being
the most cucked.
He went from being
it was hard to watch
a rival in the primaries who got humiliated by Donald Trump to a cringing sycophant who then also got humiliated by Trump. Then he tried to go against Trump, was humiliated again, then came crawling back to the fucking golf course without a mask, slobbering on other people, just lapping up fucking disease from a giant punch bowl like a fucking dog.
And where did he get it from? He was doing debate prep for him.
Yes, he was
Probably not even getting paid.
Yes, an unpaid internship pretending to be Joe Biden for Donald Trump. And what I love about this is like Trump gave him COVID 1,000%. He probably did it on purpose. He was like, "Come here, Chris. I want to kiss you. I want to pretend. Wait, Chris, we're gonna do a little role playing. You're gonna pretend to be me, and I'm gonna pretend to be one of the troops and first responders who like kissing me so much."
Chris, I think I'm the best tasting spit in the world. Taste it.
So Trump for sure probably gave Chris Christie COVID. Trump gets whisked off to Walter Reed Medical Center. He's staying in the room from the end of 2001, receiving experimental drugs and being like doted on by a team of the world's best doctors. Chris Christie was sent back to New Jersey, and he's being treated by Dr. Cusimano right now. He's in the Trenton Municipal Hospital, and getting his foot accidentally cut off because he forgot to write left with Sharpie on his leg.
Junior Soprano is wandering over from the psych ward, and he's going to shoot him in the stomach. Casada Malaga.
I will say the fancy room at Walter Reed, the pictures I saw, it just sort of looked like the most expensive library in Duluth, Minnesota.
Amber, that room sucked. They're like, this is
That
the nice.
sucked.
They're like, this is the nicest hospital room in the world, and it looked like my 100-year-old grandmother. You were like, here, unlimited budget to design your best bridge room. Like it was
amazing.
Like, awful. I mean,
it was truly awful. It was a guy that owned like the biggest chain of like Tractor Supply stores in St. Cloud. That's where he put all of his books that don't have any of the pages cut because they're just there for decorative reasons.
it's like if you gave a 75-year-old who still lives with his mom a budget to build a man cave. That's what it would look like.
Because he's more of a sophisticated kind of guy.
Yeah, there are really nice private hospital rooms that billionaires go to. There was a really interesting article about it. I think in Bloomberg. I mean, where else? But that was not one of them. That looked like shit. That looked like
Beyonce's baby room looked like a fucking like Japanese water.
Okay,
slide.
I know exactly what it reminded me of. A real life example from my life. My friend from when I was in high school, who is 28, my friend's older brother.
Cool guy.
Yeah, awesome already. He was like, yeah, I'm kind of plugged with Holiday Inn. And he came back from Florida, like where else, and was like, yo, check this out. I have the penthouse at Holiday Inn in downtown Chicago. And it was exactly like that room. Imagine what you think a penthouse at Holiday Inn in downtown Chicago was like, and it was that.
Okay, Chris, I got one more clip that I just sent to the chat. Can we just play that one up? Because this was another extraordinarily funny bit of Trump talking about potentially dying of this disease.
And I just went out with a test. I'll see what, because we spent a lot of time, and the First Lady just went out with a test also. So whether we quarantine or whether we have it, I don't know. It's very hard when you're with soldiers, when you're with airmen, when you're with the Marines, and the police officers. I'm with them so much, and when they come over to you, it's very hard to say, "Stay back, stay back." It's a tough kind of a situation. It's a terrible thing. So I just went for a test, and we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? But Hope very well. She's fantastic, and she's done a great job. But it's very, very hard when you are with people from the military or for law enforcement, and they come over to you and they want to hug you and they want to kiss you because we really have done a good job.
They want to give you the big smooches.
Wait.
You get close and things happen. I was surprised to hear with Hope that she's a very warm person with them.
By the way, the people, I'm sad that the listeners can't see the TikTok Hope Hicks fan cam that they put this over. It's nothing but the most smoldering stills of her, which is very deranged. Hearing the president's voice and just seeing what appear to be Richard Avedon photographs of Hope Hicks.
Felix has to watch that through. Felix has to watch that through a camera obscura. He gets too sprung.
Okay. The only pictures of Hope Hicks are smoldering pictures of her. She's fucking perfect.
She is gorgeous.
She's perfect.
She is absolutely
She's
gorgeous.
perfect. Hope, if people at work are mad at you for giving the president a disease, I think it's cool. If you're worried about being with a guy after you have COVID, I have antibodies. I'm very strong. I'm 6'1". I'm about to rank up in Counter-Strike Go. I own my own business, and I'm going to be a homeowner soon. I think you're beautiful.
But what I love about that clip is that this is apparently, I mean, who knows? I mean, he was probably lying when he gave this fucking interview. He probably already knew he had tested positive.
No, he definitely did.
No, he absolutely did.
For days.
What day was the interview? And
that was Friday. That was before they released it, and they knew it before the debate.
Okay.
So he's lying in the interview, but even better than that is essentially he blames the troops and law enforcement officers.
They want to kiss me too much.
They want to kiss me. And he says it's very hard. It's a terrible thing when the troops want to hug and kiss you and you can't let them. And he says, but sometimes they get close and things happen. Sometimes you end up sucking and fucking the troops because they love you so much. They love you. They want to taste me. They want to taste what Trump tastes like because I did so many good things for them. They want to give me pleasure.
If you've ever seen the end of the movie Perfume, it's like that. They just shred me. They just tell me places.
Baby needs hugs and kisses.
The lines that he's using like are giving me flashbacks to my abstinence-only sex education. Literally, you just things happen. Things happen. You always have to be on your guard because it's very difficult and things are going to happen. So you have to be strong.
It is so cool that they were prepared for the possibility of killing Joe Biden.
Yes, I think they tried to. I swear to God.
Honestly, yeah, biological warfare.
Yeah. No, yeah. And like, because Joe is King David.
Yeah, no, he's God kissed now.
Yeah, he is God's dumbest soldier. Yeah.
He's been equally blessed and cursed in equal measure.
Well, look
That's
at the
true, yeah.
year. Look at the year Joe has had. Has the sea not parted for this man or what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
like,
true.
but this, like, Trump was literally like, okay, to avoid the embarrassment of losing, I'm not going to go out of my way to kill him, but if he dies, he dies. Everyone
Whatever
around
happened.
Trump gets infected, and Joe is just, for whatever reason, is just like, the virus, like, went up to Joe's orifices and turned back. I don't, what other explanation? This is our David. This man is our David.
Yeah, but his monkey's paw will be that, like, Dr. Jill will die or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean
There has to be a balance.
There's
For
always
every
a
blessing,
blood.
He receives a curse.
Yep, there's a blood sacrifice that must be made for every time that he gets a boon. Yeah, so he better. The good thing for him is that at this point he will not even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
God could appear to Joe in a burning bush in Scranton, and he would just go about his day after that. He'd be like, "Oh yeah," he'd be like, "Oh yeah, God talked to me today."
His final blessing will be his inability to remember all the pain he's experienced.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I
Joe is the most Old Testament figure we've ever had in politics because he's not a good man. He's never learned a lesson, but through an unending covenant, he achieves victory.
Felix, I love the idea of like at the debate on Tuesday night, the virus just knocking on Joe's orifices like it's a door, and they're the Maytag repairman in Scranton. And he's like, "Sorry, buddy, I'm in the bath. Sorry, Jack, come back later."
Unless you want to see it, no problem with that.
Or like he gets the virus, and the virus is like his dad. The virus leaves his body every day because he doesn't want the neighbors to know he's unemployed. So like he takes the virus card out for a drive.
That was. Did you ever see that Biden speech? I think it was like in Ohio or Pennsylvania, where he's like, he just insulted the crowd, not unwittingly. Where he's like, "Hey, like a lot of, pretty much everyone in this crowd, my dad was unemployed." That was awesome.
I like
awesome.
empathy.
I know, Felix. I've always really loved like his speeches about his sort of like his folksy, semi-hard scrabble, blue collar upbringing. I love that like the crucible event in his childhood life was his family having to move from one part of Scranton to another. Moving is traumatic. You know, it sucks when you're a kid. It really does.
Yeah, I think like literally too, like when you try and get down to it, the worst thing that happened to his dad was like 3 weeks of being old Gil.
Yeah.
But then he got like a big sale and they were fine again.
He was not even a month. He was in between jobs that paid the equivalent of like $250,000 a year now.
Yes.
Where he's like,
in Scranton.
yeah, my dad almost couldn't buy a third house with his job at a screen door factory. like the most like God-kissed time for white middle class Americans.
Well, okay, so I mean, let's bring this all together here. So, according to the Trump's Twitter, he will be leaving the hospital at 6:30 this evening, and will not be quarantined.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we'll just continue
also-
about the business of state.
And also says that he's going to go to the debate, the next debate. It's happening.
Yeah.
They see those poll numbers and they're like, we just have to kiss Biden on the mouth.
It's the only way to work. He's just going to go in there, suicide bomb him, just tongue kiss him, give him the old Soviet embrace.
Yeah.
I did see though that the Biden campaign now wants 12 feet of space in between them. But I mean, if you're Joe Biden, why the fuck would you get in a room with this guy again? I would be like
I
Zoom
gotta
debate
say, at
or
this
nothing
point,
else.
Biden has a very good out, a better out than I'm just too old and tired to put up with an hour of grilling. To just like, this guy is the fucking plague carrier.
Yeah, he should call him Typhoid Donald.
Yeah, but he's not as good with nicknames. I feel like what he'll probably do is get like, the Lucite Pope Mobile cube.
Yes.
Which that'll be fun. That will be very fun for us.
Or he
apparently-
shows up in one of those Renaissance plague doctor masks with like steampunk goggles and a top hat.
Yeah, the bird thing.
Yeah. Bird
that
mask.
would be awesome.
So get this. So apparently Harris insisted on having the plexiglass bubbles debating Pence, which once again, this is not liberals being pussies or liberals, playing politics with the virus. This guy is in the corona zone. He's literally emerging from the corona stew. Of course you want a fucking barrier. And one of his, and apparently the Pence campaign didn't want to do that. And then one of his assistants is like, well, hey, if she wants to go hide under behind a fortress, she could do that, whatever. And then that guy got fucking corona.
Oh man.
Like also like these are the people who are supposed to actually hide behind a fortress. Like that's why there's an Air Force too. They have like a double redundancy protection for the line of fucking, like they're supposed to be insanely careful because if they die, we're really in the soup.
I think they should do the debates like quiz show, sponsored by Geritol, where they're both just in a glass phone booth and like wearing headphones, But of course, then the liberal media would probably give Biden the right answers, just like they did Ray Fiennes.
You could give Biden every question like a month in advance. It wouldn't make.
It will be nothing.
Difference.
It will do nothing for him. That was why the Q people, the Trump conspiracy people they tried to get it trending, and apparently on Facebook, where all this stuff immediately trends because there's no resistance to it. It was a big talking point that that Trump had an earpiece.
No, Biden had an earpiece.
Biden had an earpiece. How would that have helped him? To have another voice screaming in his ear while Trump is yelling at him? That would have made him. That would have been better for him.
That would have confused him
more
so much.
More grounded in where he was.
He would have started arguing with the person talking.
Yes, he would have.
Into it.
Yeah. Look here, Mac. I'm trying to say it. Let me finish.
Calm down. All right, I'm trying.
The game would be up within 30 seconds. Like he would literally like say to Trump, "Hold on, I'm arguing with the guy in my earpiece."
Yeah.
I was hiding. I was hiding in the vents last round.
That does make these the most authentic debates that I may have ever seen.
Oh, for sure.
It's impossible for either of them to cheat or prepare.
Yeah. And there's no artifice to speak of. It's just two dying brains winding down in public.
They're just two old men arguing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We love it, folks.
We do love it. I mean, and to quote the president, I would just like to say again, we love what's happening. We love what's happening. And, I don't want to be cruel, so I will just say for the record here, I hope the president and everyone in his cabinet, his family, and the Republicans in Congress, I hope their suffering is over soon.
Just let us cross over the river and rest under the shade of the tree.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Speaking of debates, are we going to cover the vice presidential debate this Wednesday?
I cleared my schedule.
Might be perhaps the most consequential vice presidential debate of all time.
Yeah,
seeing
I'll
as both
say.
people are literally
Holy
dying.
shit, yeah.
It's true. The VP is not an afterthought this election. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, can we go ahead and plug that on the app?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, okay, let's
sometime
do it.
like probably 8:30 Wednesday evening. Twitch.tv/Chapo Trap House. Hopefully this will be a slightly more coherent feed than the
it will
last
be,
one.
and that's what'll make it funny is because there's going to be so much pressure to make it normal to
Yeah.
erase the abnormality of everything else because everything has to always be normal. It's normal. These guys are normal.
Yeah. Also, Kamala's going to be a Zand.
Oh, absolutely. She's going to be absolutely dripping. I can't
Well,
wait.
I can't wait to see what sneakers she's going to wear to the debate because oh my god, it's going to be a epochal moment when she comes out there in a new pair of J's.
Hopefully, something open-toed.